no doubt the NFL is considering postponing the rest of the game. This is right in the middle of the vortex of this situation when it was unclear what they were going to do with the game. But I made the point that this late in the season, that with a game of this magnitude, it's very difficult to postpone it. Yet the end of my tweet was, all of which suddenly seems so irrelevant. For the first time in the history of the NFL, my point was, it was all rendered irrelevant by what was happening on the football field in front of all those football players, those gladiators, those warriors. They were shaken to their foundations. So I immediately didn't retweet, I just clarified. And I'll state it again, nothing is more important than that young man's health. That was the point of my last tweet. I'm sorry if that was misunderstood, but his health is all that matters. Again, everything else is irrelevant. I prayed for him, and I will continue to pray for him. That's what I tweeted at the end of the night. I did pray for DAMAR and his family soon after it happened, and again before I went to sleep last night. And I didn't sleep much, knowing that we did have a show that we might or might not do. So now the NFL has done exactly the right thing. They have postponed. I have no idea how they're going to make this game up, and I don't care. All that matters now is that that young man who had his NFL life before him remains in critical condition in a Cincinnati hospital. All that matters. Way to go, NFL. Finally, we were all able to rise above the game of football and how important it is in many of our lives.
Is if you have a blunt trauma to the chest that occurs at exactly the right time in the cardiac electrical cycle, your heart can be sent into cardiac arrest. As Hamlin comes in here, we can see this square hit to the front of his chest. We see him get back up momentarily before ultimately collapsing back down to the ground and requiring CPR on the field. This is a tracing of our heart's electrical activity. Basically, this is one cycle of the heart squeezing. Starts off with this P wave, which is the electrical activity of the atrium at the top of the heart squeezing, then the QRS complex, which is going to be the ventricles acting, but then the last phase is this T wave, where the ventricle basically depolarizes and kind of resets to get ready for the next cycle. For commotio cordis to happen, you have to suffer this blunt trauma to the chest at exactly the right moment, specifically on this upstroke of the T wave, in order for the heart to then be sent into this arrhythmia and subsequent cardiac arrest. This is one of those things that not only do you have to have a high enough force, but it has to happen within milliseconds of a time window, because if that impact comes at any other time in this electrical cycle, you're fine. You don't go into this. But when it happens at just this right time during this upstroke of the T wave, and if it's high enough, then you can have this thing called commotio cordis. We typically think of it happening in baseball players whenever they get hit in the middle of the chest with a hard thrown ball, but unfortunately that looks like what is most likely to have happened here with Hamlin.
First of all, before I start this video, I want to say thank God prayers have been answered. We have been praying for DAMAR, for him to make it through healthy again, fully breathing. We got good news that has been reported everywhere. Doctors saying he's up. He hasn't really been speaking like that, but he has been recovering. His family has been getting love all around, not only in Buffalo, but everywhere. Because if you look and see the play that occurred, Tiggins was running the ball and Hamlin was going for the tackle. But when he tackled him, like that doctor said, he hit him up in your heart is, and he went through cardiac arrest, because when he got up, he just fell out. Now, do y'all think Skip was wrong for what he tweeted or even said? Or do y'all think Shannon is being petty for, you know, taking that day off.
The game. I've seen guys suffer ACLs and Achilles tear, but I've never seen anybody have to be revived and fight for their life on the field. So it struck me a little differently because I remember seeing my brother paralyzed on the field temporarily, and he was able to regain focus. Skip tweeted something, and although I disagree with the tweet, and hopefully Skip would take it down, but I didn't want it.
Well, time out. I'm not going to take it down because I stand by what I tweeted.
Skip, let me finish.
All right, okay.
Go ahead.
No, you go.
Go ahead, let's go, Jen.
Okay.
I mean, I cannot even get through a monologue without you interrupting me.
Well,
you could have came back, Skip.
Well, I thought,
Skip, just let.
I didn't know you were going to bring up
No,
this.
I was just going to say, Skip, I didn't want to yesterday to get into a situation where DAMAR HAMLIN was the issue. We should have been talking about him and not get into your tweet. That's what I was going to do. But you can't even let me finish my opening monologue without you interrupting.
Okay. I was under the impression you weren't going to bring this up because nobody here had a problem with that tweet.
No. Clearly, the bosses wanted you to offer explanation. So clearly, somebody.
No, they did not have. Nobody.
Let's go, Jen.
In that video, you clearly see Skip Bayless said he's not taking back what he said. Like, he never really apologized. And clearly that was being all in the tabloids. That went viral. But y'all really didn't see his 2 tweets before. Like, he was saying that we should pray for him. But how he went about it was that this is a business and we're going back to business. So how can the Bills and the Bengals do this around this time during the season, because it's almost time for playoffs? And he made it seem like he's so focused on business, but in reality, DAMAR is laying on the field lifeless. So it's a lot of people who really wasn't hearing that and definitely didn't care about that, because that didn't make no sense, man. Like, in my opinion, it kind of gave me a little bit of like racially driven, because if that was Tom Brady, he would have snapped. He would have snapped because clearly he glorifies Tom Brady, and you know, that's someone who has the same race as him. Now that it's a young black man, 24-year-old, that kind of look like me, you like, okay, prayers out. But now when we getting back to the game, like, that's not where it's at. First of all, I want y'all to know that I personally don't support the NFL. That's slavery right there, bro. They don't care for our people. They need this. They use us. They bet on us. It's like they're against us, right? People don't understand it's modern day slavery.
Well, how, Ace? When they get millions, how is this possible?
Well, it's possible because they hold these players under. You can't speak your mind. You can't have, you know, freedom of speech. When you are in these positions, people will just be like, just be quiet and play ball. But anyway, like, we making this video for Skip because we want him to know, like, yo, that show should really be canceled. Shannon already got Club Shay Shay. People always see them arguing and everything. Just because they work together don't mean they friends. Y'all clearly see that most of the times they be counter, because Skip is not a man within culture. Skip don't understand this. Skip will never understand this. So yes, he's being respectful and speaking from his perspective, but it's clearly no respect. Like, when it came to that tweet, man, I feel like that was the wrong time to tweet that. I don't know if Skip be reaching sometime, but Shannon clearly don't rock with him like that. Yeah, they argue all the time on that show, but this time, like, he's really pushing it, man. I'm really starting to see people boycotting Skip. Like, are we gonna boycott him? You try to talk to Shannon like he don't know what he talking about, and he's just a man that used to play in the NFL. Because, you know, they had an episode one time when Skip was asking Shannon, you know, are you jealous of Tom Brady? This was recent when he just was attacking Shannon about that. And it ain't right, man, because now when it's this, we need that same energy, Skip. We need that same energy. So y'all tell me what y'all think about this, man. It's been a lot of horrific things happening in the NFL, and I just feel like, or at least around the community, and I feel like Skip ain't giving that same energy. Stephen A. Smith was on there, you know, maybe it would have been a little different, like, as far as wordplay, because not saying Shannon ain't as vocal as Stephen A. Smith, but there probably would have been like a different type of conversation, and was like, you know what, I can't even finish my monologue that I prepared for this because Skip trying to talk down on him like he's a boy. You know what I'm saying?
A boy, if you know what I mean, but...
What do you mean by that?
It just ain't right, man. Y'all tell me what y'all think about this. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Comment. Tell me if you taking sides with Shay or you taking sides with Skip. I'm going to be real. I'm taking sides with DAMAR. You know, I'm just happy that he is healthy and he's up again. He's doing well. I don't support people that slave players like that, right? We all know that the system ain't built for us. We know what it's made of. Like, that's how it's designed, you know, to keep us under and use us for entertainment. Because a lot of people just say that's what we good for, right? Entertainment. We good entertainers, singers, rappers, sports players. They don't want us to do nothing else. Dance, maybe, cook, maybe, but they don't see us as doing anything else. One love.